Hey, college wrestling fans, this is Johnny Thompson, number one. And today we have a guest from the NJCAA, Coach Bryan Strain of Snow College. Thank you for being on the program today, Coach Strain.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
So, we're going into the fourth season of Snow College Wrestling. You know, your first season, a little bit of a struggle, but then after that, you guys have had winning dual seasons every year. You guys finished third in the district this season with nine NJCAA qualifiers, including Chandler Thompson, who took fourth at the NJCAAs, Caleb Marks, who took seventh, and then Wiley Stone, who finished one match shy of being an All American. Talk about the success of snow wrestling, in particularly this season.
Yeah, I took over in the second season. So Kimball Bastion was the inaugural coach, and they it was an inaugural season right there, just getting started. A lot of things getting figured out. So um, I took over the second season, and I was blessed with the fact that he'd recruited some good kids, and he had started some good things, um, and we've just tried to build on that. Year over year, we're just trying to establish a culture, expectations, standards, um, for the athletes, and we're just trying to um, build a winning culture, a winning mindset. You know, this, the second year, so the year I took over, we were 18th in the country. We had two All-Americans. And then coming into this last season, I mean, we were ranked as high as 10th. Um, but every season, every season poses its own set of problems, its own set of issues. And when you're trying to establish a culture, sometimes there's resistance, sometimes there's the guys that can't buy in. And so we had our ebbs and flows, our ups and downs. But Chandler Thompson and Caleb Marks were both standouts. They were second year guys, the guys coming back. And they were kind of the central figures in getting into that postseason. Chandler unfortunately was injured for most of the season. In early on, well, it was the scrimmage, the inter squad scrimmage. Um, just a freak accident. He tore his patellar tendon, his LCL, and his PCL all at the same time. And it took the almost the entire season to get back. He was cleared about a week before national qualifiers, the region tournament. Was able to come back, wrestle. Took second in the region tournament and then fourth at the NJCAA nationals. Um, Caleb Marks was healthy the whole season, and I mean, he's a stud. Uh, he beat some really high level guys, and I mean, he only lost to um, three kids in the NJCAA. And it was one kid at the national tournament he lost to twice, and that's his only losses. It's kind of crazy because stylistically, you match up poorly with somebody, it can make or break you. So, but we've had some key players in our culture, um, and some key leadership. I've got guys returning that they are either injury redshirted their freshman year or this last year that are going to be key in our success in the future. But really, it's helping kids to become their best in school and athletics and establishing a culture of expectations, right? That, and getting athletes to hold each other accountable. I think, as a coaching system, it can't be the coach being the sage on the stage all the time. Kids have to buy in, athletes have to buy in, and they have to support each other through the process, have to hold each other accountable. And I think that's what we're leaning towards. And that's why we've been able to have growth, is that it's getting more of a athlete leading athlete type of a situation where we set those standards, we get people to buy in, and then we hold each other accountable and we work towards, the success we want. So.
Speaking about success, you and I both know that that comes throughout the entire season. But when kids are in high school and they're looking at programs, the main focus is the NJCAA national tournament, correct?
Yeah.
And with that said, you guys have had a lot of success. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe that Chandler is your first ever two-time
He
NJCAA
is.
All-American. What does that mean to the program to be able to say that now we have a guy that earned a medal in both of his varsity seasons at Snow College?
It's huge. And, Chandler comes in uh, as kind of an unknown his freshman year. Like he took a gap year. He had a successful high school season, but he wasn't a four-time, state champion in Utah. Um, he just came with a really hard, really good work ethic where he wasn't afraid to work hard. He put himself in a situation where he was around the right people to push him. And he proves. Um, he proves that, especially jumping from high school to college, it the work you put in, the time you put in is going to be a far better indicator of your success than what you've done previously. I think he was just, coming into his own, and even taking that gap year between high school and college, he was just coming into his own. He was figuring out that he could be successful at any stage, and he could do anything. And I think that's huge. He proves that we can be successful with whatever we have as long as we're willing to put the time and work ethic in.
I also wanted to ask you about Wiley Stone this year. He won the most
Yeah.
falls in least amount of time. That
Yep.
kid can put people on their backs at any moment. Just a fun wrestler to watch that really understands the art of pinning. Is that something he already came in with, or have you guys really worked on him with his pinning skills?
So Wiley is one of those kids. He has an unorthodox style, but he's excellent at it. And he's another one where coming into the college arena, it can be difficult to make that transition because you're trying to figure out like what's going to work for you. And he went through a period of time where, he might have lost a little bit of love for wrestling because he was trying to focus on the fundamentals and the basics, and he wasn't really wrestling how he used to. And then to come the postseason, he and Max Sultan, the assistant coach at Snow, had a conversation about, just enjoying it, just having fun with it, doing what you're good at. And really it helped him make a turn. So he's one of those guys that he just has great hips. He has great mat awareness. And he'll put himself in scrambles because he knows he can win those scrambles. And he's another one that this next year and following, it could be an amazing thing to watch because he's really good about putting people on their back. He'll get them into a scramble situation and he'll elevate their hips and he'll win the battle and put them on their back. And he just when he has fun, when he's loving wrestling, he's capable of anything.
Um, Looking over the Snow College schedule year in and year out, I've noticed that you guys are not afraid to duel and go up against some of the bigger schools. You guys competed at the Battle of the Rockies, which involves Montana State Northern. You guys have dueled Menlo, which is going to be NCAA Division II next year. You guys have dueled D3, have a duel against Wartburg, and then you guys have done another D2 team in Colorado School of Mines. NAI, Arizona Christian, Embry Riddle. What does it mean for your team and your guys to go up against those bigger division schools?
It's important. It's important that we get the varied experiences because, you know, we want our program to be a stepping stone between high school and college. I mean, not between because we are college, but we want the high levels, Division I, Division II. We want our program to be that stepping stone between call the high school arena and the highest levels of wrestling. And so it's important to see those schools. It's important to be tested. And it's important to understand that, just because you wrestle at the NJCAA doesn't mean you can't be a Division I product. You can be the best wrestler you want to be at any level. It requires mindset, it requires effort and training, but there is no limit to the potential of an athlete. And we don't want to just wrestle in JCAA. We want to wrestle as many college level athletes as possible because we have to see what is going to be required at those other levels. If we're going to get kids there, we've got to see that. And they have to see that. They have to feel that they can compete with anybody at any time and in any situation. And so, yeah, we don't like to shy away. We like to have some fun and throw it down with anyone we can. So
One of the things that's unfortunate and a very painful thing to talk about in the world of collegiate wrestling is the fact that we've lost so many programs over the years, particularly a lot in the western part of the United States and the upper Northwest. And one of the things that I've noticed that you guys do as well is you guys duel both Utah Tech and Washington State, which are NCAA programs, non-varsity, but still work really hard as everybody else does. And I would like to ask you, what does it mean to you as a coach to not only as a coach but also as an ambassador of collegiate wrestling to duel these non-varsity teams, and then if you think that it'll eventually maybe help to maybe get more varsity programs in your area.
yeah, I think not shying away from any program is important. That they they have really good athletes. And so, I mean, Caesar Ubico from Utah Tech, super good athlete. I mean, he was part of a national team, and a quality caliber, high caliber guy. And I think you're right. As an ambassador, we want to strengthen wrestling throughout. And I think programs like Utah Tech, they have the the ability, they have the potential to become the next sanctioned program. And I think we have to support that. We have to hope for the the fact that school could adopt wrestling as a sanctioned sport. And we do. I mean, we hope that happens because the more programs we have on the West, the stronger we're going to get. And we even trying to open up the West by we try and get California junior college teams to participate with us. I've tried to reach out to them and get them invested in duels and tournaments because the more the more prominence we can bring to the West, the more kids are going to stay. We lose a ton of athletes from Utah, from Arizona to the East Coast and Midwest. We lose them because they want to go somewhere that wrestling matters, and where they feel like it's important to the school. And that's unfortunate. We should have that here. They should want to stay here. And if we could keep our athletes here, I mean, the West would have it would look different. We'd have a lot more prominence in the wrestling world, and that's what we're trying. I mean, that's one of the focuses I have is trying to keep athletes here, um, and trying to show that we can produce the highest caliber athletes you want, and they're worthy of all the accolades they could achieve, and they could do it here. They don't have to go. So
Well, along the same lines, you look up and down the Snow College lineup. You guys aren't like going out, to the Midwest or to the East to recruit. I mean, your guys are all Utah, Idaho, Hawaii, Nevada, um, Alaska. Your guys are all in the area, and you're providing an opportunity that you do have North Idaho, you do have Clackamas, we do have Big Bend. I'm not saying there aren't other junior college programs around because there are, but especially in the Utah area and that area around where you guys are at, you guys are providing one of the, if not the only, opportunity in your particular area for kids who want to wrestle and get the NJCAA college experience.
yeah. And we are kind of landlocked. We're kind of isolated. I mean, we just added Colorado Northwestern, which is in Rangeley. but they're really the closest ones. I mean, it's us, and then there's Western Wyoming, and then uh, Colorado Northwestern. But then, I mean, our closest in our district, besides Colorado Northwestern, which just is this year, is NIC, and they're like 12 and a half, 13 hours away. So, yeah, I
Wow.
mean, if kids don't want to, yeah, if they don't want to leave the state, we are the opportunity. If they don't get pulled into the Division I level, which is UVU, we're the option. And hopefully, as time goes on, more kids will realize that. And with the rule changes and everything that's going on, I'm my dream is that the Division I looks at us more not not just solely us, but more seriously for their athletes. Because if the ruling stands and we don't take away from eligibility years, the junior college level could become a breeding ground for just great athletes to go on to that next level. So
Well, Coach, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on Johnny Thompson #1 today. I want to thank you once again, and I also want to wish you guys the best of luck in the 2025-2026 season. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
well, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Take care.
You too. Bye.